There are many different textures, flavours and colours of food in the human diet. This makes eating an enjoyable and social activity. If all our food looked and tasted like this, perhaps eating would become more of a chore. In biological terms, eating is an essential task. Food is required for energy, which is used in the maintenance of all biological processes in animals. Cells are continually using energy to break down and build up complex molecules. These are human cheek cells, seen under the microscope. The body's organs require energy in order to maintain normal functioning of the body as a whole. This ultrasonic scan shows the muscles of a heart beating. These muscles need energy. Energy obtained from food is also required for movement. When muscles contract, they convert chemical energy into mechanical energy. Mammals are warm-blooded. They must eat large amounts of food because they have to use large amounts of energy. This energy generates heat and keeps their bodies at a constant temperature. Cold-blooded or ectothermic animals gain heat directly from the environment, and so their food is not needed to generate body heat. Energy from food exists as chemical energy. Chemical energy is required for growth. Growth only accounts for a small amount of the energy which is used in the body. Animals also use energy obtained from food in order to reproduce. This energy can be considered as a long-term energy investment in the species as a whole, rather than energy for the individual. Food is required for all these three purposes, and we should now consider what exactly food is and how it is made available to the body. The basic essential chemicals in food are grouped into carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, minerals and vitamins. Carbohydrates are substances which contain only the elements carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. These substances include starch, reducing sugars and non-reducing sugars. Foods rich in starch include potatoes and bread. Animal products do not contain starch, as starch is an energy storage product exclusive to plants. Starch molecules consist of many glucose molecules held together in a long chain. It is thus called a polysaccharide, poly meaning many and saccharide meaning sugar. An enzyme present in saliva is responsible for breaking down starch molecules into individual glucose molecules. Starch molecules cannot be absorbed by the intestine, so chewing is necessary in order to introduce the enzyme and so break down starch into useful glucose. The term reducing refers to the ability of the sugar to react in certain ways to chemicals such as Benedict's solution. Reducing sugars such as glucose and non-reducing sugars such as sucrose are important sources of energy. Table sugar comes from either sugar cane or sugar beet. It is made up of crystals containing sucrose molecules. Sucrose is known as a disaccharide, as it is made up of two distinctive sugar molecules. One of these molecules is glucose and the other is a very similar sugar called fructose. Sucrose in table sugar also has to be broken down into its component sugars by enzymes before it can be used by the body. Foods rich in sucrose are often eaten to excess in our society because of their pleasurable taste rather than their nutritional value. A balanced diet of foods which do not contain added sucrose will provide ample carbohydrate for all the body's energy requirements. Excess sugar is converted to glycogen, which is the animal equivalent to the storage of starch in plants. If glycogen is allowed to build up in the body, it is converted to fat. Fat is stored in special cells called adipose cells, seen here under the microscope. Eating too much carbohydrate can result in obesity. The ability to burn off excess glycogen and so not become overweight is inherited. People do not always become overweight simply through overeating, but often through an inability to burn off excess glycogen. This inability is inherited and is not connected with the person's eating habits. Substances known as lipids are common in many foods. Like carbohydrates, they consist of the elements carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Lipids may be either fats or oils. Oils are liquid at room temperature. They are derived mainly from plants, for example from seeds, such as these sunflower seeds. Oil may be converted to solid fat to produce margarine. Fats are solid at room temperature and derived mainly from animal products. Fats are a rich source of energy in the body and are broken down in the liver. Lipids can be detected in foods using the emulsification test. Here, vegetable oil is added to alcohol, in this case propan-2-ol. The solution is shaken. It is then added to water. The milky colour indicates that lipids are present. Eating too much lipid when the body cannot burn it off efficiently can again result in obesity. Slimmers foods are therefore low in fats and carbohydrates. Both the food substances we have considered so far are primarily energy sources. Proteins may also be used by the body as an energy source, though this only occurs under conditions of starvation, when carbohydrates and lipids run out. Proteins are made up of amino acids and are essential for growth and replacement of cells in the body. Proteins are located in the cytoplasm of all living cells. These are onion epidermis cells. Their cytoplasm is rich in protein. These foods are all rich sources of protein. They include nuts and beans, meat and fish, and dairy products. As protein cannot be stored in the body, a balanced diet should contain a reasonable proportion of protein-rich foods. The biuret test is a test for proteins. Sodium hydroxide solution is added to albumin or egg white. A few drops of copper sulfate solution is then added to this mixture. The violet colour indicates that protein is present in the albumin solution. Protein is particularly important to the young as it is needed for growth. Pregnant women also require extra protein which is needed for the growth of the developing child. As muscle cells are extremely rich in protein, bodybuilders need a protein-rich diet. In some of the poorer nations of the world, protein-rich foods are scarce and expensive. Protein deficiency causes a disease called kwashiorkor. In Western developed regions such as the United States and Europe, protein is often eaten to excess. Minerals are essential in the diet. One very important mineral is calcium. Dairy products are rich in calcium, which is essential in the body for the maintenance of healthy bones and teeth. Iron is another important mineral. Green vegetables contain iron. Iron is an essential raw material for making hemoglobin, the pigment found in red blood cells. Liver is also a rich source of iron. Vitamins are also required in the diet. One very important vitamin is vitamin C. Foods rich in vitamin C include many vegetables and fruit. In modern developed countries, the diet is balanced and deficiencies in carbohydrates, lipids, proteins and vitamins are thankfully rare. A balanced diet is an essential part of a healthy lifestyle.